Why did everything change when things were actually going really well? One of the biggest misconceptions is that when a man pulls away, it's because his feelings have disappeared. Sometimes it's actually the opposite. Sometimes it's because his feelings became real. And that's when his insecurities show up. Think about it. In the beginning of dating, you're getting to know each other. There's excitement, there's curiosity, there's very little pressure. So, to someone secure, that's really exciting. You're thinking, this could actually become something. But to someone who's insecure, that exact same moment feels completely different. They're thinking, oh no, this could actually become something. Because now he's started imagining a future with you. He starts caring about you. He wants you to like him. And suddenly the relationship isn't just about you. It's about him. Things like, am I enough? Can I give her what she wants? What if she realizes I'm not who she thinks I am? So the closer you get, the harder it becomes to hide parts of yourself you're insecure about. So sometimes he doesn't pull away because he stopped liking you. He pulls away because liking you has forced him to confront parts about him that he is insecure about. Sometimes people don't run from the relationship, they run from the version of themselves the relationship is asking them to become. So now you're thinking, why doesn't he just talk about it? If that's what's actually happening, why doesn't he just tell you? Why doesn't he simply say, I'm scared, or I'm overwhelmed, or I don't know how to process my feelings? Because creating distance actually makes it feel easier than feeling vulnerable. So if you've ever wondered why someone who texts you every day suddenly starts taking hours to reply, or they say things like, I'm confused or I'm not ready, sometimes what's actually happening is they're trying to reduce the anxiety that they're feeling. So the more they care, the more they realize they have something to lose. And if someone's never learned how to tolerate uncertainty, they instinctively try to regain control. How, you might ask? By stepping back. Because if they're the one creating the distance, they don't have to sit with the fear of being rejected themselves. So this is not a conscious decision. They're not thinking, I'm going to pull away from this person. It's often an unconscious way of protecting themselves from the emotions that they simply do not know how to regulate. Which brings us to something that gets talked about constantly, but it rarely gets explained properly. Why can a genuinely healthy woman feel intimidating? People often say men are intimidated by successful women. I don't think that's the whole story. I think emotionally healthy people can feel confronting. Not because they're perfect, because a secure person leaves very few places for an insecure person to hide. So think about it. If you're emotionally available, you communicate clearly, you're consistent, you know what you want, that's very attractive. But someone who avoids vulnerability cannot stay comfortable. Your presence is naturally inviting them to be emotionally available too. To communicate, to be consistent, to stop avoiding difficult conversations. And if they're not ready for that, it can feel easier to convince themselves that this relationship isn't right for them than to admit, I'm not ready for the kind of relationship this woman needs. That's why someone can genuinely like you and still leave. This is not because you were too much, but because the relationship required them to become a version of themselves they haven't become yet. Now, before anyone walks away thinking, so should I just wait for him? We need to make a really important distinction because understanding behavior isn't the same as accepting bad behavior. A lot of people hear conversations like this and they think, so he did really love me. Maybe he did, maybe not. The truth is, we don't know. What we do know is that someone can genuinely care about you and still not have the emotional capacity to build a healthy relationship with you right now. So there are two different things. Someone's wounds may explain why they pulled away, but they don't make them emotionally available. And that does not mean you should wait. Here's something that's equally important. Even when we understand why someone else is pulled away, there's another question we rarely ask ourselves. Why do we find ourselves drawn to the same kind of relationships in the first place? Because the people we're attracted to, the dynamics we repeat, the emotional patterns we're getting stuck in, they aren't random. All of us, we have a blueprint in love. Who we're attracted to, what feels familiar, and where we tend to get stuck. In the next video, I want to show you a completely different way of understanding that blueprint through your Venus sign and why it can reveal the patterns you've probably never noticed before. So if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell so YouTube shows you that video. You are going to get so much value out of that one. Thank you so much for staying with me, and I'll see you in the next video.